Computer. All right. So yeah, the recording has started. Welcome everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Rosemary and I'm the founder of Shetribe. And this live Q&A is part of the 30 days challenge that we hosted since the beginning of last month, and was really to help to basically end the year well and to be more intentional about what it is that you want to do, whether it's to focus on your health, specific aspects of your life. And we've had amazing speakers so far. We had the first week, we learned a lot about time management and how to, get things done without overwhelm, and what are the little things that we can do to kind of help us with our to-do list without feeling completely overwhelmed. Then the following week, we also talked about basically our nutrition and looked at our lifestyle, how we can have healthy lifestyle choices based on the food we eat, how we react with our nutrition and all these other things, and also focus quite a lot on the reproductive health issues that a lot of Black women are struggling with. And last week we had Marie-Laure, which was our image consultant, fashion designer, and we talked a lot about how we can find ourselves again, but reconnect to our feminine identity. And that was really, really, really amazing as well. This week, which is the last week, we're going to be focused on basically your identity and how you can reconnect to yourself, how you can live a life full and authentically. So for some reason, my speaker view isn't small. I'm trying to put myself on smaller. 1 minute. Could you, what do you see on your screen? If you could quickly chat, let me know in the chat so that I know for sure, because I have the feeling that we see Nadia's profile instead of mine. Do you see me in big on your screen, or do you see me in small? Okay, Jessica sees me in big, you see me in small. Welcome to those of you who are joining right now. I'm just trying to see, I have the feeling that the picture of me is in small instead of being in big. Some of you see me in big, some of you see me in small. Cecilia, maybe you can let us know in the chat whether you see me as a small frame or whether you see me in covering your whole screen.
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Yes, I see you in all screen normal.
Okay.
It's fine.
So it's just
by my side. Yes.
I guess it's just me. All right. Okay. Well, let me continue with that. So basically, as I said, this week's focus was really about focusing on stepping into your full self. A lot of people go through life as someone else. There's lots of roles that we play, whether it's the role of a mother, of a sister, of a wife, of a, of the work that we do, we take on that identity and that becomes really who we are, so much that we forget to look within and see, okay, so who is the real me after, when I look at all this. And so that's what I wanted to look at this week. And also that's a little bit of what can be expected of the 6-week coaching program that I put together a couple of months ago, which we've done 2 rounds already, helping women dive deep into their own story so that they can use their story as a superpower instead of an obstacle. So I'm going to talk about some of the pillars that we went through this week. And the first one was looking into your history and your story. And the reason why that's important is because in order to know who we are, we need to know, really where we come from and all the details and all the people in our lives, either the ones that we know personally or those that came before us because they have an impact on the person we are today. And that's an exercise that I also shared with the ladies who did the coaching program already. There we go a lot more in depth as to your story and history, but we ask questions such as, tell me about your mother. What type of person is she? Because if you were to explain, paint a picture of your mother to someone else, what would be the stories that you would tell? What would be the stories and the facts that you would include, and what would be those that you wouldn't? And so by looking at your history here, we did a different type of exercise where I asked everyone to kind of do like a family tree, because I think a lot of us haven't done that exercise before. And most of the time we just know, okay, my mom and dad, aunties and uncles. And if we have a lot of aunties and uncles, which a lot of Black people and African people we do, sometimes we may not even know all of them. And so the idea was try to take some time and look at what does your family tree looks like, and are you able to go all the way to your great grandparents, your parents, your grandparents, and your great grandparents, and put that on the line, like who is where, how many people are there. If you know their names, that's great. Do they have kids, and where do you fall into that? And the reason why it's important to do that is because, well, that's an exercise that many of us have never done. And I don't know if any of the ladies here did the challenge. And if you did, I know Cecilia, you did. If you were able to do some of those exercises, feel free to share in the chat what came out for you. Were you like, oh my God, there's actually a lot more people in my family than I thought they were? Or, there are a lot of people that I don't know or that I don't have a relationship with, and whatnot. So I'd like to also let me know in the chat how that has been for you. And if you haven't done the challenge yet, but you have done this exercise before of drawing your family tree, feel free to let me know why you have or why you haven't done this in the past, and at least what came up for you. In the second part of the exercises, we also looked at values and beliefs. And this is very important because basically our values is what drives us to live, the way we live our lives. And many of us, again, here haven't really taken the time to do this exercise. And we're like, yeah, I think this is important in my life, or that is important in my life, but have we really sat down to really think about it? And also, if we have, do the things we do currently in our lives, do they reflect those values, or we just say we have those values, but actually nothing in our lives represent them? And that's a very interesting exercise to do for those of you who've never like really sat down to really think about what your values are. That's great, because you need, it allows you to think about, okay, what are the things that are important to me? And if so, how can I make sure that's more present in my life? And then the beliefs, which stems from those values, is somehow linked. Beliefs are set of things that you believe, as the name says it, but they are not necessarily true about yourself. And these are things that we've been repeating to ourselves, or that we've been told, or that we've heard, and that without proof, or sometimes with proof of even the contrary, we still believe. And it kind of leads our lives, and it allows us to either make some decisions that are good for us, or sometimes bad decisions. And again, here, ladies, feel free to let me know, what are the values that came up for you if you did the exercise. And if you haven't done the challenge yet, or the exercise even, if you could also share with me, are there any things that come up to you and you're like, okay, this is what I value, or this is what is important to me in my life, and this is what I live by? And I think if we look at, a personal example, for instance, I think um, open-mindedness is something that's very important to me. I try to have an open mind about everything, about people I meet. So I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't like to go into relationships, or when I say relationship, I mean intimate, but also just friendship, or just work, or anything. I like to come with a clean slate and expect the very best from people. And some might think that's naive, because coming into any situation like that means that you probably will be disappointed. But I guess that people that believe that are people that believe that deep down, people are bad. And so one of my beliefs is that I believe that people deep down are good, and that we're all good deep down, but we just haven't, it's life circumstances or things that have happened that turned us into a certain way. And so I give the benefit of the doubt to everyone, and I hope that they give me the same. And that's something that I live by, for instance. So there are many things that you can find, but I would hear, for instance, some people who say, I value my family and friends a lot. However, when you look at their lives, if they were to do the exercise of writing down what are the things that they do daily, you would see that there's very little time that they spend with their family or friends. And so the translation would be here that we may say that something is important to us, and that's something that we value a lot. And however, when we look at our lives, we can clearly see that there's a mismatch. So the best way for you to see whether you're living by those values, whatever they may be, is to see how do you spend your time. And I think by looking at that, it will give you a clearer understanding of what is it that you do with your time. And when you do say that you value something, how much of it is really in your life. So I encourage you to do that type of exercise for yourself and see. And then one thing that we talked about also during this challenge is the set of beliefs, as I said. And we all have beliefs about ourselves, we have beliefs about other people, and we have beliefs about the world. And these can be positive or negative, but we really here wanted to work on the negative ones because those are the ones that impact us negatively and that hold us back from being the person that we really want to be. Because if we believe that, let's say, as women, all men are bad, it will hold us from maybe being truly vulnerable and being truly who we are, because we feel like we always have to put our guards up or something. So it's really important to, when doing the exercise, always think that, how does that impact me and withhold me from being completely myself? Another aspect that we looked at during this week is your tribe, basically, the people that surround you. And that's very, very important, because once you know who you are, you would think that you would associate yourself with people who are similar to you or with whom you have a kind of a nice vibe. And what we can see is that's not always the case. That's really not always the case. And so it's important to do the exercise. And here we don't go as in depth as we go into the coaching program. And some of the topics, as I said, do come back in the coaching program more elaborately. And some I haven't touched on in that context like that. But tribe and finding the people that you want to vibe with is one of the topics that comes in there, and we go very much in depth because as they said, show me your friends and I'll show you your character. I even don't know where that proverb comes from or where that saying comes from. That's something my mom used to say quite a lot. And I think that it's important to look at at least the 5 people that you hang around with the most and see, are these people bringing me up or bringing me down? What is the common thread here? What holds us together, and I think a lot of people have a difficulty making changes there because they feel as though, if I've known someone such a long time, and I've known someone and that person has been my friend for a long time, it probably means that, we're just friends and we should be friends forever. But it doesn't mean that you've grown up with someone or they've known you for a long time that necessarily they should stay in that close circle that you have. You have the right to shuffle people around. You have the right to move people around. And I think I saw a post, probably on Instagram, not sure how it went exactly, but it said something about it's possible to also say out of office to human beings, put people on out of office or something like that. And that means that basically it's learning how to set boundaries. I think a lot of us have difficulty with that, especially women, as to how do I preserve my space? How do I let some people know that this is where they can go to? This is as far as they can get to me. And for others, how close I can let them be. And I think that's an exercise, again, that takes a lot of time for us to do, but it's something that is very, very valuable. And so the exercise that we have done is to reanalyze who are those people around you and where do you put them into which bucket. And I see that Nadia here is saying that she's been having difficulties to let go of some people that she's known for more than 20 years, but the last few years I feel like we've been growing apart and have different lifestyle. Exactly. And I think those are the hardest relationships to let go, because we feel like, well, we've known them for so long, so I guess this should just be in our lives. And we sometimes even have that with family. When I say family, you can never really cut ties with families because, well, with just family, But even with family, you can decide how close you are to certain people. If some people are just toxic to you can see them once a year, or you can wish them a happy birthday. You don't need to be on the phone with them every day or spend every other time with them. And that goes the same for friends. And realizing at some point, okay, where do I put these people? And sometimes you will reshuffle them. So maybe someone will start as a very close friend, but then they will move to acquaintance, and from acquaintance they'll maybe move to, extended group of friends or whatever. Or sometimes that person might become someone you used to know. And that seems so odd, but actually it happens. We do that with um, relationships. When I say relationship, I mean intimate relationships. You've dated someone for a very long time. And during those years, you probably thought, you were two peas in a pod and you were inseparable and you're going to get married or whatnot. But it's funny how after a few years, when you're with someone else, that person just happens to be, sometimes that person is just someone you used to know, someone you used to date, just an ex. And depending on obviously the relationship that you guys still have or not, most people don't really have any type of relationship with their exes, but some have friendships. They still become just like, oh, it's a friend, an extended friend, So it's important for us to reevaluate, okay, this person, what kind of values do you have? Again, to know what you have in common, you have to have done the exercise for yourself. There's no way you can see whether you guys are a good match if you've never done the exercise for yourself. So it's important to look at, okay, I recommended to write down 5 to 10 values that you'd find important. And so values, as I said, could be, open-mindedness, it could be hard work, it could be adventure, it could be, um, think about things that are important to you. Family time, comfort, security, and those things, and see, okay, if those things are important to you, the type of friends that you have, do you at least share commonalities? You don't have to be twins with your friends. So obviously there are differences here and there. But if you're completely different, that's a problem. And I think I see a lot of people having friends, but really when they look at the group of friends they have, all their friends are from maybe high school and they used to go clubbing together, or they just happen to be going to church together and they're just their friends, but they have really nothing in common with them, or nothing in common anymore. As human beings, we evolve, and it's okay to change, and people don't have to change with you. Some friends go along with you because you're all in the same kind of mood, and some don't. And I think that's where it's important to be able to let go. And how do you let go? Because people are like, okay, so how do I let go of those friends? I guess it's a gradual thing. So the best way, and I think that's the same for intimate relationship, the best way to get over someone is to, well, obviously first do the work on yourself, but once that's done, you kind of have to meet new people, right? And so by meeting new people, you will have less time to reach out to those older friends that you don't need in your life. Reach out to new people, share about the things that you care about. Perhaps maybe they're interested, but they've never just had that conversation with you. So that's an exercise that is really important to see, okay, what kind of people do I have in my life? And is there a gap? Are they are there some kind of friendships that I'm lacking? And if so, where can I start looking for them? So that's a very important one. I'm gonna look at my notes because, well, as you know, I'm pregnant and my memory is really bad lately. And so that was one of the topics that we discussed this week. Another aspect that we really honed in and that was really important is also how you take care of yourself, basically. And I can't breathe anymore. We talked about how you take care of yourself, how you spend time on yourself. And a lot of people don't take the time, they don't take the time to see, what are the things that I enjoy doing, all of that aspect. But and also one thing that we looked at that is a major pillar of also your identity is the type of work you do, or the passion that you have, or what you feel like you were created for. And so I broke it down into career purpose calling in a way, and career purpose calling because I know that not everyone is entrepreneurial. Not everyone has like a business or wants to even create a business. And so when we look at those of you who are thinking, oh, I just want to do something else, but I just don't know where to start. The first thing would be, some of the exercise that the questions that I gave was like to find out, okay, so what am I passionate about? What could I be talking about for hours and hours without even having to prepare much for? What are the things that drive me crazy? Like when I hear about it, I'm like, how could someone believe that? Or how could people do this? You're like like an advocate for that topic. You're like, oh, I don't understand why people don't get this. And you really want to explain and you want to help people. What are the topics, so the things that frustrates you, the things that drive you, and just write down some of these topics and see if there's like a red, like there's something connecting the dots there. Another thing that you would do is also, you know, where do you go to start? And I think a lot of people want to help the world. You're like, oh, I want to do this. But look at right now. Who could you serve right now? Who could need that information that you have? So maybe you want to talk about um, environmental things, and you're really passionate about, green living and how people can reduce their carbon footprint and how they can be more sustainable and all these things. And you're like, people just don't have enough information about that, and it drives you crazy, and you're just super passionate about it. And so you could think about who are those people who might be interested about this but can't maybe find the information because whatever is out there, they find it too boring. And maybe you have a creative way of sharing this. And so start local, start where you are. A lot of times we're always looking outside, like, where can I find people? But who are the people already right now around you that you could serve with whatever it is that you're passionate about? And then another thing is, so who start where you are, who are those people, and then look at what kind of skills or qualifications or experience you already have, because we think, oh, maybe I need to have worked like years and years and years before I get to do this. But sometimes it's just a matter of what, maybe you've been doing this since you were little. Maybe you went to the Scouts. Maybe you went to any type of organizations, or you worked in an NGO, or you did some volunteering, anything that could show that you have some experience and you've already tried this first. So look at that. And also sometimes, yeah, it could be that you have a qualification in this, whatever it is that you're passionate about, that can be linked to it. And when we looked at those of you who have a career, like you're, climbing the career ladder, you're in a company that you love and you really want to grow there, you're not so much into entrepreneurship, and you're like, I don't want to start something for myself. I quite enjoy what I do, and I like getting my salary at the end of the month, and it's a fix, and I can grow every year. I'm fine with that. And that's great too. But how can you bring more of yourself into that? Because I hear a lot of people who say, I love my job, but it's not completely me. Like it's two separated things. Like my day job is it, and when I go home, I'm someone else. Not in a negative way, but it's like completely different. Let's say you're an accountant, but actually during your free time, to you love fashion, and you can, you're all into changing wardrobes, and you know what fits people, colors to use. You're really, really good at that. But you're like, yeah, but I'm an accountant, so there's no way I can bring in that passion. There's always a way. And there's always a way in the sense that, for instance, the company that I work for, once in a while, we have, well, that's pre-corona, we have events, company events, and sometimes we have to dress in a theme, like choose a theme and dress up like whatever. And let's say if I was someone who was very active in the fashion world and everything, I could be creative with that and come up with something for the group. And we've had people who were pretty creative, and they always take the lead when it comes to certain things and said, oh, let me do this. Or people who are very passionate about event planning. And so whenever we have team buildings and stuff like that, even though they're not the ones responsible for it, because they've shown so much passion and interest into that topic, you're giving a lot more space to be part of the programming. And so that's something that I also advise people who are currently working in a company and who have no plans of starting their own business. But even if you do, let's say, but you want to be more of yourself, you want to show up more as yourself within the company without having to play two roles. The best way is to let people know, talk about your passion, use every opportunity to share your passion and your expertise with your peers, first of all, and with your managers if possible. One topic I'm super passionate about and interested in is inclusion and diversity. So every chance I get, I talk about it, which meant that when there was a chance to speak on this topic on a more, on a higher level, I was the obvious choice. And they reached out to me to give a presentation to our regional managers, which would have thought, well, wow, why Rose? Because I've already shown that I'm passionate about, and before I even got a specific role to do that, I was doing that proactively. And another thing that you can do is, again, as I said, I ended with proactively, is to offer your help to curate events or host conversations around that certain topic. So by sharing your knowledge and expertise in that for free, just like, hey, this is something I'm passionate about, people can think of you. And this goes for at work, but it goes for anywhere else that you are. If you don't let people know you're interested in something, you would never be invited to the table. And people always say, how do I get invited to the table? By asking, you know, let people know that you care and that you have experience and that you're interested, that you're willing to learn, whatever it is, but be vocal. Because if you don't ask for what you want, someone else might. And then you get pissed because you're like, I don't understand how this person got this, and I'm more qualified and blah, 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 but you never said anything. And I think so that's very important um, when you wanna get a seat at the table, you wanna get recognized for something, and you wanna bring in more of yourself. And so I touched on briefly about another topic that we talked about, and I was mixing things up because of my bad memory, which was about personalizing your wellness routine. And here again, this is a topic, this one, and also career purpose and calling is a topic that we go much more into in depth in the coaching program. And creating a wellness routine is very important because in knowing yourself, we can't just be doing whatever works for everybody. Not everyone is into yoga, and not everyone should be into yoga, and that's completely fine. Not everyone is ready to run a marathon, and not everyone likes jogging. But we all know that these things, working out is good for you. Working out is good for you. It's healthy, makes you feel good, makes you look good, makes you, it's great. But there's different types of workout that you should do. So in your wellness routine, we looked at nutrition, workout, and in the coaching program, we look at even your looks, how your reflection is. But here we focused on your nutrition, your workout, but also what it is that you do to relax and to just, relax yourself and feel good about yourself. And when we look at nutrition, one of the exercises was to log down everything that you eat in a week or a day minimum. What is it that you eat? So from the first moment you wake up, maybe you wake up, you drink a glass of warm water with lime or lemon. You take your breakfast at a particular time, and your breakfast consists of 2 eggs and a toasted bread and some tea with, whatever, or some coffee, a piece of fruit. At 11, you may have a yogurt. At noon, you have a Greek salad with some quinoa or whatever. Maybe at 3, you have something, an apple. Dinner time, you have some pasta with some bolognese sauce or whatever. And maybe at 8 p.m., you may have another piece of fruit or yogurt. So this is just an example, right? I'm just making this up. But by noting things down, and, obviously you also put in every time you have a drink. So during the day, you have your 8 cups of water, or maybe you just have 3. Maybe you only have water whenever you eat. So that's 3. Or maybe you only have 6. You have 2 glasses of water whenever you're eating. So the idea is to write that down, because it will allow you to see, first of all, what am I eating in a day? And also, are there things that I'm not eating enough? And so ideally you would do this for a week to see, and you would notice, oh my God, I actually never eat fruits, or I never eat vegetables, like a meal where it's largely vegetables, or I never eat a balanced meal. And if you're interested to look into that topic more, I would recommend you to look at week 2 of the challenge, because we go in depth into nutrition. Also the Q&A looked a little bit at that. Another aspect we looked at is your workout routine. Again, here was to see, okay, do you work out at all? And if so, what kind of workout did you do? How do you feel about it? Do you enjoy it? Do you feel sore? How long do you do this? And this is all to see, okay, as I said in the beginning, we know workout is important, but we're not all expected to do the same thing, which is completely fine. But it's important to see, what kind of workout do you currently do? What is your workout routine? Do you even have one? And if so, what is it? Do you enjoy it? Or do you want to make some changes? Do you want to personalize it a bit more? Or because maybe you've been doing what you've been, people have been telling you that is good, but maybe it's not working out for you. So here again, I would say, look into your workout and see how can you personalize it a bit more. And then the last point that we discussed on day 3, which was the day 3, that topic, is how do you relax currently? Do you have a moment where you just, you just breathe? You know, does it mean that when you wake up, you have a morning routine, or, you have an evening routine, or you have a day of the week where you spend on yourself? What does that include, Because that's very important. If we put most people, especially women, do everything, and then they say, when I have time, I will spend time on myself, which means that that's almost never. But I would say that self-care, or spending time to relax or do what is good, and self-care could include all these things. It doesn't have to just be relaxing. Self-care is also working out. But what I mean is taking care of yourself. That should be seen as saving. If you have heard financial experts or people who, advise you when it comes to finances, they would say that savings is something you do in the beginning. So savings is not something you do as, oh, I get paid €1,000, so I pay my bills, and if there's something left, I'll save it. No, savings is something you do immediately as you get paid. So it's seen as like your bills. You get the money, you take away, what is it, 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is that you can put aside, you pay your bills, and whatever is left is what you use to live. And if at the end of the month you still have some money left, you add that up to your savings. And that's how you should see your wellness routine. This is not something you do when you have time, like I'll I'll just do things. And if I'm done with work, I'll eat something. Some people just work, 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 and they even forget it's lunchtime and don't even have anything to eat. So no, you need to have some set time when you know, okay, when it gets to that time, I'm just going to stop and have something to eat. It happens sometimes that you just can't because you have to move meetings around, which can happen, but don't let that become a habit. Same thing for working out. It shouldn't be like when I have time, I will work out. It's no, I work out and then I do this. And for everything else, relaxing, going to get a massage, whatever it is that you can do, we're talking really corona free here. But whatever you feel like your body needs, first you need to identify, what is it that I need? Am I someone that gets pretty stressed and tense? And do I sometimes, maybe I require to see someone once a month for my back or whatever. Maybe I need to do some more yoga. Um, Maybe I need to go swimming. What is it that you need? Do you journal? So the important thing here is to write down what you feel like your body needs to feel good, look good as well. And once you know that, try different things out. And again, personalize it. You cannot be doing what your neighbor is doing just because everyone is doing it, because it might not work for you. But once you figure it out, what it is that is important to you, and try it out, that's when you can be really fully yourself and authentic. And look at it, as I said, as savings. This is something you do now so that you have more energy, so that you feel better. So you can really, be it's like a holistic lifestyle, so you can be happier, healthier, and more fulfilled and more successful in life. You cannot have all this if you're constantly doing everything else and then coming to yourself at the end of this. So these were some of the topics that we went into during this week, to give you a little bit of idea of what the coaching program is like. As I said, some of the topics we go much more in depth into the 6-week coaching program, and it's also a lot more personalized because the groups are smaller. So everyone that comes in with, that signs up to the program, I have a one-on-one call with them and try to see what is it that you're working towards. When you look at yourself a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, and you're fully and authentically yourself, what does that mean? Does that mean, do you physically look different? What are the things that you're doing? What are the type of people you're hanging out with? What is the type of job that you're doing? What are all these experiences and yeah, experiences that you see yourself having? And what can we do now to help you on your way there? And in order to do that, we have to work on some of the pillars, such as your story, your values, your beliefs, your tribe, your wellness routine, your spirituality, all these little things to say, okay, what is important to you and how can you bring more of that into your daily life, so that when people see you, they're like, wow, this person is really walking into their own destiny. They're so truly who they are. You inspire others to also be completely themselves because they feel like you're really you. You're not playing a role. You're not trying to please others. You're not trying to wear a mask. And we sometimes have to adapt in certain situations, but it's so amazing when you get to fully be yourself and not worry about what others think. And you will be recognized for that. And people will come to you because of that. Say, I really want to be around you because you have this real energy. And it's difficult to just have that for some people, and that's something I want to work towards, because especially as Black women living in a country where we're a minority, we feel like we have to wear masks a lot. And there's been this story about, many stories about Black people, brown people who try to adapt so much in certain situations that they completely erase themselves. They completely forget who they are and what their stories is. And the idea is that you get to, in this program, get to work so much on yourself that your story and who you are becomes so natural that there's no other way to be, and that it becomes an inspiration to others. So I hope that you enjoyed this week. I don't know if you have any questions, feel free to DM me, feel free to obviously write it in the chat. We're still here. And, if you want to do the challenge again at the end of this week, I'm going to put last week's challenge and this week's challenge on our Wix app. So if you want to check it out, it's just on our website with the app. I will send you. I don't know if any of you don't have the app subscription. You can just go on Wix, and then there's a code that you need to put in there. If you're already subscribed to the newsletter, probably yes, because you're all here today and you're all Shetribe subscribers, I can see. So normally you have all these details. Something that you may not know, this month we have a special guest expert who's speaking to us. So the challenge is coming to an end now. It's been really amazing. All the replays of the Q&As are shared with you. If you can't find them and you're interested to see one or the other, just let me know and I will send you the link. It's on our YouTube page, on our YouTube channel. The Q&As can be followed there. The challenges are on our app. And the two last one haven't been uploaded yet this week's, and last week will be uploaded. So you have access to all of them. And as I said, we have a special guest speaker every month that is exclusive for our members normally. But because it's been a difficult year and this very special year, we felt like it was a good time to give you a snippet of that. And this month, we're focusing on mindfulness. And mindfulness is a word that's been thrown around quite a bit. And people are like, oh, what is that? Is that meditation? What is that exactly? And Sherelle, who's our coach, is focusing on the importance of mindfulness for especially Black women. And the reason why she focuses on that topic is because I don't want to go into too much details because I really want you to watch it. I've watched it personally 4 times already, and I really, really liked it. And she talked about how our life expectancy is reduced by almost 3 years, Black women, compared to our white peers, just because of stress. We're so stressed that we lose 3 years of our lives. So we have 3 years, we live 3 years less than white women just because of stress. And I was like, whoa, it may seem like not a lot, but 3 years, it's 3 years, and all of that because we're so stressed. And stress is something you take on, but also, something that's passed on. And that's why in the coaching program, we also talk about your story, because some of the things that happen to you might be impacting you today that you're not even aware of, could be giving you stress. And sometimes when things happen, that triggers you. And her masterclass is really, really amazing. And we're offering this month for free, but we're also offering the membership for free. So by signing up to our membership, our monthly membership, you get access to a free trial. So if you sign up this month, you actually start paying only in January. So the first 30 days are free. You will have to give in your details, obviously, just like any other website, but the payment won't be taken. It will be taken only next month. And you get access to this free masterclass. You also get access to your call with the group, call together. And after the masterclass is also a Q&A, which will be most likely next week or next week or the week after. We want to give people some time to be able to watch the masterclass. It's truly, truly amazing. So if you haven't watched it, it was sent in last week's newsletter. I will send a reminder tomorrow in tomorrow's newsletter as well for you to have access to the masterclass. It's truly amazing and it's very in-depth, very interesting. And there's also a 20-minute meditation that comes with it, and a live Q&A that will be done soon with her. There's a link that she also shared where you can do a stress test, because I think a lot of us are like, oh, I'm not stressed, like I'm good, I don't have any issues. But by doing the stress test, you can tell, you can get real results. It asks you quite in-depth questions for you to figure out. And she's very much interested during the Q&A to go over that with us. So if you do decide to watch the masterclass, also take the time to do the test. It doesn't take super long. And once that's done, you can share that also during the call and your other questions. And so I hope to see you then. I don't know if you have any more questions for me or anything you'd like to share, or questions not necessarily about the challenge, but about Shetribe in general. As you know, yeah, Shetribe is our sisterhood community. We've been, we really want to help you live a healthier, happier, more successful life together. And as part of our benefits, we have we have these memberships monthly, and starting next year, we have a whole lineup of amazing women of color experts who will be sharing from different areas of expertise. And we have our first one already this month, and the rest is lined up already, ready to share their knowledge with you. Apart from that, you get access to discounts to our events and also other partners' events, our retreats that we do once a year to African countries. But even with COVID, things are moved around a bit, but we will have a 2021 retreat, just not at the same time as we normally do, so not early during the year, but more towards the end of 2021. And more details will be shared with you about the retreat and all the other things we have planned for you. So, yeah, if there's no more questions, I'd like to wish you a wonderful, wonderful Saturday evening or afternoon, wherever you are. And I invite you to check out our masterclass and invite your friends. And I invite you to sign up to our membership this month at least, so you can try it out for free and see if this is for you. Thank you, Cecilia. I'm glad that you enjoyed participating in the challenge and that you learned a lot from it. And I hope to see you soon, ladies. Bye-bye.